Not every woman you meet is meant to be loved. Some are meant to be a lesson, a warning, a storm wearing perfume. The truth is, most men walk into relationships blind, thinking love is enough, thinking effort will fix it, thinking loyalty will protect them. It won't. Because there are women out there who won't just break your heart. They'll fracture your mind, your focus, your future. And they'll do it with a smile. Not out of evil, but out of wounds they've never healed. They'll pull you into their chaos, call it connection, and leave you rebuilding what they burned down. This isn't about hate. It's about awareness. Because once you can spot these 5 types of women, you won't just avoid destruction. You'll walk with a clarity most men never find. The first type is this woman who lives in chaos and needs you to drown with her. Her life is always in some kind of emotional wildfire. One day, she's high on excitement. The next, she's drowning in drama. And you? You become her emotional oxygen tank. She doesn't want peace. Peace bores her. Stability feels like silence. She only knows love when it comes with yelling, disappearing acts, and "we need to talk" at 2 a.m. You'll spend your energy trying to fix her storms until you realize she's the one creating them. She confuses intensity with intimacy. If it's not extreme, it doesn't feel real. And if you're a calm, grounded man, she'll push you just to see if you'll break. That's not passion. That's trauma rebranded. The longer you stay, the more you'll mistake adrenaline for attraction. But remember this, a woman addicted to chaos will never build a future, only recycle damage. She doesn't want a partner. She wants a witness to her self-destruction. The second type is the attention addict. She doesn't crave connection, she craves validation. And no matter how much you give, it will never be enough. You could flood her world with compliments, affection, loyalty. But the second she steps outside, she needs every man in the room to look her way. She lives for the double taps, the fire emojis, the endless scroll of men reminding her she's still wanted. And if they stop, she'll bait it. The selfies, the suggestive captions, the strategically posted stories. She calls it confidence. But confidence doesn't beg for eyes. At first, she'll make you feel special, chosen. But eventually, you'll feel invisible in the very relationship you thought you were building. You'll start to compete with strangers, with shadows, with men who don't even know her name. And that's the trap. The more you give, the less she values it. That's the law of diminishing returns. You're not feeding love. You're feeding a bottomless hole. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you've been starving yourself just to keep her full. If you're the kind of man who values clarity over chaos, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. This is the mindset most never reach. The third type is the professional victim. Nothing is ever her fault. Every ex was toxic. Every friendship ended because of jealousy. Every job, every mistake, every broken bridge, someone else lit the match. And if you stay long enough, that villain will eventually be you. She wears her pain like a badge of honor, not to heal, but to manipulate. Her sadness becomes a currency. Her struggles become your responsibility. And if you ever try to hold her accountable, you're labeled as unsupportive, insensitive, or just like the rest. At first, you'll feel protective. You'll want to be her safe space, her shelter. But over time, you'll realize you're not her peace. You're her emotional punching bag. You absorb her triggers, her outbursts, her endless need for reassurance. This woman doesn't want growth. Growth would require honesty. And honesty threatens the story she's crafted, where she's always the innocent one. And if you stay, you'll shrink yourself to fit inside that lie. The fourth type is the control freak in disguise. She won't come at you with rules or ultimatums, not at first. She'll smile, she'll charm, she'll play the cool girl game, but slowly, you'll feel the grip tighten. It starts with small corrections. Why did you like her photo? You should wear this instead. I just think it's weird you didn't text me back faster. She doesn't argue. She rewires. And before you realize it, you're second-guessing everything. Your tone, your friends, your freedom. Her weapon isn't rage, it's guilt. She'll never yell. She'll just get quiet. She'll sulk. She'll withdraw affection. And every time she does, you'll scramble to fix something you didn't break. Not because you're wrong, but because she's mastered the art of psychological leverage. Eventually, you'll stop making choices for yourself. You'll start managing her emotions. And that's not a relationship. That's emotional captivity. A slow erosion of identity, repackaged as love. The fifth type is this woman who loves potential, but not reality. She falls for the idea of you, not the truth. She sees your ambition, your strength, your presence, and starts building a version of you in her head. One that's slightly richer, slightly more available, slightly more whatever she's lacking. In the beginning, it feels inspiring. She believes in you, pushes you, encourages you to be more. But over time, you'll feel the pressure, the quiet dissatisfaction with who you are right now. Every version of you that's present gets compared to the fantasy she's projected. And when you fail to meet the vision she scripted, she pulls away, not with anger, but with disappointment. She wanted a champion, a savior, a man who would fill every space she left empty. But the second she realizes you bleed, doubt yourself, or slow down, she detaches. You'll feel like you failed her, but you didn't. She never loved you. She loved a character in her head, and you just happened to audition for the role. And the problem with being someone's fantasy? Eventually, reality gets in the way. By the time you realize what's happening, the damage is done. Not just to your time or your trust, but to your self-concept. Because each of these women doesn't just drain you emotionally, they quietly rewire your sense of self. You begin to question your worth. You doubt your instincts. You silence your boundaries just to keep the peace. And piece by piece, the man you were, the one with vision, strength, and clarity, starts to vanish. You see, men don't lose themselves all at once. They erode slowly, in tiny compromises, in silent sacrifices, in letting things slide just to keep her close. But let this be your wake-up call. No connection is worth the cost of who you are. Because the hardest truth to swallow is this: sometimes the love you want the most is the one that was designed to break you. Not because she's evil, but because she's unhealed. And it's not your job to save her. The Stoic man doesn't avoid love. He doesn't run from connection, but he's ruthless with what he allows into his life. He studies patterns. He listens to energy. He watches how a woman behaves when she's not trying to impress, but when she's being real. He knows that peace is expensive, and chaos comes disguised as passion. That validation is addictive, but real intimacy is quiet. That being chosen isn't always a compliment. Sometimes it's a trap. So he doesn't just date based on chemistry. He chooses based on character, on how she handles silence, struggle, boredom. Because that's where truth lives. Not in the honeymoon, but in the ordinary. And when he sees one of these 5 red flags, he doesn't try to fix her. He doesn't try to rescue her. He simply steps back and lets the storm pass without dragging him under. Because protection isn't just physical, it's spiritual, emotional, psychological. And real strength isn't how much you can endure. It's knowing what not to entertain in the first place. And here's the part most men miss. Not every dangerous woman looks dangerous. Some of them smile the brightest, laugh the loudest, seem the sweetest. But underneath the surface, their patterns are sharp, their wounds are deep, and their love? It's conditional. You'll never see the destruction at first, because it doesn't come as a punch. It comes as a whisper. It comes as overgiving, oversharing, overloving. But all of it has strings. And eventually the price you pay is your clarity, your focus, your fire. She won't take everything at once. She'll take it in pieces. Your sleep, your energy, your confidence, your ambition. Until one day, you look in the mirror and realize you're still standing, but you're hollow. And the worst part? You'll blame yourself. You'll think, maybe I wasn't enough. But the truth is, you were just giving to someone who feeds on what they can't create. That's why awareness is your only armor. Learn these patterns. Burn them into your mind. Because the first time, it's a mistake. The second time, it's a decision. So here's your reality check. Being a good man isn't enough. Being loyal, honest, available, that's just the baseline. If you don't have discernment, if you can't spot a red flag while it's still pink, you'll keep offering gold to women who only value glitter. The Stoic path is not about isolation. It's about filtration. Knowing who gets access and why. Because who you allow into your inner world will shape your energy, your decisions, your destiny. There's power in walking away. There's clarity in saying no. And there's freedom in realizing that protecting your peace is more important than proving your worth. So take this as your armor. The 5 types of women who destroy not with fists, but with silence, smiles, and emotional confusion. Now you've seen them. Now you can't unsee them. Stay grounded, stay sharp, and above all, stay unavailable to anything that costs your soul.